Okay, so we're on the golf course, hitting good shots, playing well, and we're having a lot of fun. Inevitably, in a round of golf though, we are probably going to hit a bad shot. And what happens is we hit the bad shot and then we may hit another bad shot. And then we would just love to know, what are we doing wrong? What is causing the ball to slice? Or what is causing this top shot or this chunk shot? Well, what we're talking about is having an understanding of the ball flight laws. And there are 5 of them. So here they are. Clubface angle, swing path, speed, angle of attack, and center face contact. If we have an idea about what these 5 ball flight laws are and how they change your ball flight and affect your ball flight, then we really have something to get started on, and then we can have some fun. So we're going to go outside and take a look at the 5 ball flight laws, how they affect what your ball is doing, and a little bit about how you can control each one of them. So let's get started. Club face angle. Whatever direction the club face is pointed in when the ball is released from the club face, that's the direction the ball will start in. So if your club face is pointed to the left, the ball is going to launch to the left. If your club face is pointed to the right, the ball will go off to the right. If your club face is going straight ahead, the ball will take off straight ahead. I used to, and most people do, grip the club in a weak fashion, meaning they grip the club in a way that actually promotes slicing. So we don't want that. We want to hit draws and we want to hit straight shots. So here's how we're going to do it. First off, I would like you to do this. Take note that as you stand naturally, your palms probably face in towards your body a little bit. And we want that to happen when we grip the club. So what I mean by that is when I put the club down in front of me here, my left hand as it goes on the club, my palm is facing towards my body slightly, and specifically a couple checkpoints here. The V between my thumb and my forefinger point back to my back shoulder here. I can look down and see 1, 2, all the way to the 3rd knuckle on my top hand, my left hand. My right hand, when it goes on, I'm going to think about the palm of my club matching up with the club face angle. So my palm is pointing straight down here parallel to my target. And you can either overlap or interlock. You can even put all 10 fingers on the grip. For now, that's okay. And when I put my right hand down, I can see that this V on my right hand is pointing, you know, closer to my chin, not quite so far back. But both of my hands, the palms are pointing definitely towards my body a little bit. That's going to help me be able to hinge the club, but also it's going to help me control the club face and get the club face. It's going to want to close a little bit more naturally, and a closing club face is what helps us hit draws and stay away from hitting those slices. So many, many years ago, I was already in love with golf. I was addicted to golf, and I was frustrated with it at the same time. To save my life, I could not figure out how to stop slicing. It seemed like, no, it didn't seem like it. In fact, every ball that I hit, and as the clubs got longer, it got worse, those balls would constantly peel off to the right. I'm a right-handed golfer, and they would just go to the right all day long. I tried everything I could try to get the ball to go to the left. And what I tried to use was common sense and my intuitive thinking. And unfortunately, my intuitive thinking did not match up with drawing the ball or getting rid of the slice. At that point, boy, it doesn't matter how long ago, but well over 20 years ago, I realized, and it was explained to me, how the club face angle and the swing path are the key to whether you're going to hit a draw or you're going to hit a slice. So here we go. What we want to do, and I'm a right-handed golfer, so I'm standing over here on the left side of the target line. We want this club to swing on a path where the club travels from over here. We're going to call this the inside of the target line. It swings from the inside of the target line out onto the target line and then back around to the inside. And as I mentioned a second ago, if the club is traveling out this way a little bit, out this way, and right now, I don't know if you can see it, but right now my club face is actually open a little bit. We're going to come through, hit the ball, and after the ball is gone, the club travels back this way to the left, and the club face is now closed. So the club face is going to open on the way back, close on the way through, and the cool thing about that is it's actually pretty natural. So what we want to be able to learn to do is we want to get this club to swing from inside on the target line back around to the inside. And hopefully you that ball started off fairly straight and drew a little bit over to the left. All right, so that's the reason why we're going to get direction issues as far as slicing goes. If we don't get that club swinging from the inside and we don't let that club face close pretty much naturally with that swing path. So how do you really know if your swing path is a problem? Well, if you're slicing, and by slicing what we mean is for a right-handed golfer, if your ball starts off straight and curves to the right, or if you see your ball just curved to the right at all, we probably have a swing path and or club face problem. So let's just talk about a couple things you can do to help work on that swing path. First thing is we want our golf swing anyway to be on plane as much as possible. And what I mean by that is we want the low end of the club pointing at the target line, and right now the low end is pointing at the target line back here. So we want the low end of the club pointing at the target line, right? Except for when there is no low end of the club, and then we want your club parallel to the target line. So here's where people get in trouble in their swing plane. It's right off the bat. They start off, this might be you, they start off looking pretty good. We've got our alignment sticks down here so we know where we're going alignment wise. But then what they do is they start their backswing with their hands moving first. Then they start turning their shoulders and they get in a situation where the low end of their club points outside the target line. It's off plane. Well, now to get back to the ball, it's really common to hit the ball because if you just start your downswing from here, you're going to miss the ball, right? So our regular golfer gets started with the hands, turns back, now they're off plane. Well, guess how they get back to the ball? Just like this. This out to in swing path comes from an incorrect swing plane. So let's get started on plane correctly. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this stick a little bit closer here. Okay. I'm going to set up normally, and then I'm just going to scoot the club up until the butt end of the club catches me in my belt buckle. So we call this the butt in the gut drill. And I'm just going to keep this club on my belt buckle as I start my backswing. Oh, it came off. I don't know if you can see that, but it came off because I didn't start my backswing with my shoulders. I got off plane right from the get-go. So we'll try this again. Now if I turn my shoulders with my backswing, now that butt end of the club is staying on my belt buckle, about to here to about, maybe 24 inches back from the ball. And then if I continue, you can see now the low end of my club is pointing pretty much down at the target line. So the butt in the gut drill is a great drill to do to help us get started with a good swing plane. So even if we do get to a really good position in the top of our backswing, we could still have an out to in backswing. We could still go over the top because it's just very common to go this way into the ball. This over the top move, it's going to produce pulls and slices. So one thing that helps a lot of my students is to have the feeling of, after they take their backswing and as they start their downswing, they keep their back turned to the target as they start their downswing. See how this gets my club started more from the inside of the target line? And you can see the club really wants to swing from an inside to square to back inside path by me keying on keeping my back turned to the target. So number one, do your swing plane drill, butt in the gut, to get you on plane. Number two, keep that back turned to the target as you start your downswing to get your club started on the right swing path. Our next ball flight law is speed. Obviously, the more speed that's associated with your club head, or the faster the ball goes when it comes off the club face, the farther the ball is going to travel. In case you are not already aware, also you can see I've got a 7-iron here in my left hand, and I've got my driver over here in my right hand. Notice the difference in shaft length. The longer shaft is going to produce more club head speed. And so your club head speed with your driver should be higher than the club head speed with your 7-iron. So the longer the club is, the more speed you're going to get, obviously. Although, as we add speed, things also get a little bit more difficult to control, so you have to make sure we use that speed wisely. Okay, angle of attack. Angle of attack is really, really important to help us hit solid golf shots. If you really, really love to play your golf on golf courses with fluffy fairways where the ball sits up a little bit, then your angle of attack is something that we need to take a look at. If I am going to hit good solid golf shots on a regular basis, I need to hit the ball before I hit the ground. So if I can have a correct angle of attack, my club will be descending as it hits the ball. So it's going to hit the ball and then it's going to hit the turf. Really, really often, beginning golfers or golfers who are trying to find a way to enjoy the game more, to play better, they've actually got an angle of attack where they're hitting a little bit too much up on the golf ball. And so here's one little tip to help you get this kind of figured out. The things we want to do to have a good angle of attack is we want to make sure that when we strike our golf shot, our weight moves forward and our hands move forward. When we watch slow motion video of, say, a professional golfer, of a tour player, when they're striking their irons, we see weight on their front foot, we see their hands forward, and their divot takes place up ahead of the ball. When we look at 15, 20 handicappers and up, we see a lot of situations where their weight is not moving forward, their club head passes their hands, and they're oftentimes hitting the ground before they hit the ball, or if they don't catch the ground, they're coming up and they're scooping it and they're kind of topping the ball. So angle of attack is really the angle that your club face takes going down on the ball. It's not important on how much, but to play better golf, what we want to do is we want to have our weight forward, our hands forward at impact, so that we can strike the ball and then the turf. Center face contact, super simple. Let's do this. Hit the ball right there in the center of the club face. Obviously on the toe would not be good. The ball might go off to the right because it's going to twist. On the heel is not great because if you catch the hosel, oh, that's going to be the S word. I'm going to say it just this once, the shank, and we don't want that to happen. So make contact in the center of the club face. And so to summarize the 5 ball flight laws, but not really in a particular order: club face angle, swing path, speed, angle of attack, and center face contact. What we want to do is we want to really focus on and get good at right now club face angle and swing path. If we can get those 2 things under control and working for us, the other things, they'll start to take care of themselves.